that has their podcast that seems to be in major financial paper. The twist, this dream might be a ticking time bomb, and the clock is running out fast. You might be wondering, just how bad can things get? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Even with heavy hitters like Shaq in your corner, financial disasters don't play favorites. Angel's dream podcast, it's hanging by a thread. She thought she had finally made it, riding high on a soaring basketball career, a lavish lifestyle, and a brand new podcast meant to bring it all together. But what happens when success isn't enough to keep everything from falling apart? I mean, who could have possibly predicted this? Is there a dark secret behind their sponsor Improved Collective's headquarters and its alarming streak of financial disasters? Could this be more than just bad luck? Hello, Nils, the big podcast, and Angel Reese's Unapologetically Angel podcast have captivated fans with their mix of sports insights, cultural commentary, and fun personal stories. Both shows are part of Playmaker HQ. Yes, People Are Bettered Collective. The sponsor of Angel's podcast is valued at a staggering $820 million. But here's the shocking part: that massive fortune doesn't guarantee anyone's paycheck. After this bizarre turn of events, one question looms: how can a company worth so much still leave financial security hanging by a thread, which operates under Better Collective, a media giant valued at $820 million? Yet recent financial hurdles at Better Collective could bring unexpected challenges. Imagine waking up to the news that the very company funding your podcast is laying off 100 employees. Not exactly the best scenario for your show's future, right? That's the reality Angel Reese just faced, watching her sponsor's foundation crumble beneath her feet. What happens next? That's the real question. It's a beloved podcast again. I don't know how beloved Angel Reese's podcast is, but Shaq's got a pretty good follow. Get this, Better People didn't just cut a few bench warmers, they wiped out an entire squad. Their stock plummeted 36.5 in a single day, erasing millions in the blink of an eye, faster than Angel's fanbase after her latest career misstep. And here's the real problem: when the company backing you is in freefall, those paychecks don't land as smoothly as expected. Angel might have envisioned a slam dunk, but right now it's like she's trying to play basketball with a football. It just doesn't work. To make matters worse, analysts are already warning that these financial troubles could put both Angel and her podcast in a seriously dangerous spot. The question is, can she recover before it's too late? Late October, Better Collective announced over 100 layoffs, citing challenges in the U.S. and slower growth in Brazil. This announcement led to a staggering 36.5 drop in the company's stock. Wow, that's right, Better People missed its projected profit by a staggering $75 million. And guess what? This financial disaster isn't just a setback, it could spell the end of Angel's podcast altogether. The real question is, can she find a way to keep the dream alive, or is this game over? Downgraded revenue outlook for 2024 from a possible $460 million down to as low as $385 million. So they came in about $75 million short of what they had forecasted. That's not great. Now, let's break down why this is a big deal. You might remember that Angel recently took a jab at the WNBA, claiming it doesn't even cover her expenses. That comment didn't exactly win her any favors. So with her podcast now on shaky ground, where does she turn next? Oh, here comes the bad news for Angel Reese. If that's the case, Angel made a grave mistake going all in on her podcast without factoring in the very real possibility that those paychecks could dry up. Now with her sponsor's financial meltdown, she's left wondering, was this a winning bet or a costly miscalculation? I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills. Literally, I'm trying to think of like my rent last day. I'm gonna do the math. Angel went all in on podcasting, banking on it to fund her lavish lifestyle, including her jaw-dropping $100,000 a year rent. You read that right. Her entire WNBA salary doesn't even cover her living expenses. Now, with her podcast's future in jeopardy, the big question is, how long can she keep this up before everything comes crashing down? The issue that I do have as far as some of the things with Angel Reese is, like, you can't simultaneously be like hating pays, and then not try to play victim. But like, while her honesty is commendable, it begs the question, why live in such an expensive home if she can't actually afford it? Was this confidence or just poor financial planning? Angel Reese continues to make me shake my head, honestly, complaining about the WNBA salary not being able to cover her $100,000 rent. I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills. Literally, I'm Trying to think of like my rent for where I stay at. No, my rent is more than that. It's 8,000. It's tone deaf mentioning this type of money. Paid 8K a month in rent. Even though the podcast was supposed to be her ticket to success, Angel might need a solid backup plan fast with the financial walls closing. And the real question is, what's her next move? Angel and her pretend friend, they started talking about the minimum wage salaries in the WNBA. Angel Reese was complaining because her woke welfare donations from the dump aren't enough to cover her rent in Chicago. The WNBA currently donates around $75K a year to Angel Reese to not sell out home games while also finding new unique ways to miss layups. Tough job. But Angel Reese, to her credit, she makes it look simple. Here's the deal. Angel Reese made a huge miscalculation by banking too hard on her income streams. I wasn't getting paid in college, so this WNBA check is just a bonus. She once said, I mean, playing for 4 or 5 months and getting $75K plus endorsements, that's a win for me. But let's clear up a common misconception. Podcasting isn't a surefire way to get rich. Unlike Shaq, who treats media as a side hustle, Reese depends on her show as a key supplement to her already modest WNBA salary. Rumors suggest Angel's monthly earnings range from $5,200 to $82,400, a massive gap, and reality is likely much less glamorous. While her show has built an audience, better collective, the company backing it is struggling, and financial instability trickles down. Sponsorship cuts could hit her hard. And here's another problem. YouTube popularity doesn't guarantee podcast success. Think of it like trying to dunk on a moving hoop. It's not a guaranteed score. A massive name alone isn't enough. Just ask Meghan Markle or the Obamas, whose podcasts flopped despite big budgets and huge platforms. A well-known name doesn't automatically equal a thriving podcast. Angel's learning that the hard way. If you're not delivering top-tier content, why would people stick around? The truth, fans don't just want a "hey guys, welcome to my show" moment. They crave exclusive behind-the-scenes stories, real game breakdowns, and raw insights, things they can't get anywhere else. Even massive deals fall flat. Spotify bankrolled the Obamas and Meghan Markle, and their show still bombed. So what makes Angel think she can break the trend? Let's talk numbers. Angel pays a staggering $100,000 a year in rent, which exceeds her entire WNBA salary. That's an insane financial burden, considering the average rent in Chicago is just $2,000 a month. Even with a WNBA salary of $73,339, her rent alone eats up a huge chunk of her income. And if her podcast doesn't take off, she's facing a financial checkmate. For context, most financial experts recommend spending no more than 25% of your income on rent. Angel's well past that. At this rate, losing the podcast could be a financial disaster. Success isn't about just being famous. It's about engaging content and audience retention. Sponsors don't just throw money at big names. They want listeners who stick around. Ad revenue spikes around the 30 to 45-minute mark, meaning if people tune out early, the money dries up. That's why social media clips from her show might rack up views. But if no one is actually listening to full episodes, the podcast is in trouble. Better Collective, the firm behind Angel's podcast, is facing major financial struggles. If they can't stabilize their cutbacks, could directly impact her show's future. That means Angel has no choice but to treat every episode like a game-winning performance. If she doesn't step up, her lavish lifestyle might be the first thing to go, and fans aren't staying silent either. Social media is buzzing with criticism, with one fan bluntly stating, not exactly the smartest game plan. Unlike Shaq, who could lose his podcast tomorrow and barely feel it, Angel doesn't have that luxury. If this fails, it affects her entire career and financial future. And the worst part, the WNBA season is over. There's no game content to keep discussions alive unless she reinvents her show fast. This could be game over. At the end of the day, Angel isn't just gambling on a podcast, she's gambling on her future. And right now, the odds aren't in her favor. Thanks for watching, and subscribe my channel.